intelligence agencies and put it into the Department of Education and the scientific departments where it belongs. Take it out of the threat scenario agencies where it is funded as a potential threat and put it into the opportunity agencies where it is funded as a matter of education and advancement of knowledge for mutual benefit.
Exopolitics offers a bridge out of the permanent warfare state, the permanent warfare economy, out of the permanent warfare industry, into transforming the permanent warfare industry into a cooperative, peaceful, space-age society, integrating with universal society. Extraterrestrials are not a national security issue. They're an educational and social issue for our society, and they may be a spiritual issue.
So I began to look outside of the kind of conventional sphere. I began to explore theories for what it is that really is driving international politics. And so then I came up with this area of an undisclosed extraterrestrial presence that is kept from the general public. So that really did help me understand what was going on and what is driving international politics. Vast sums of money are being siphoned through these different agencies into the coffers of the CIA, which then forwards this money on to the DOD, and this money is funneled through the DOD and goes into the black projects which the DOD has direct oversight over. So the CIA is kind of like the bagman. It collects the money, it goes to the Department of Defense that actually administers how this money is going to be spent on different black projects. So the size, how much are we talking about? I think the best indication for just how much we're talking about here are the auditing irregularities that the Inspector General of the Department of Defense has himself identified. He identified in 3 years, it was 1998, 1999 and the year 2000. In those 3 years, we identified on average $1.7 trillion could not be accounted for in the Department of Defense budget. In other words, this was money that was being moved around in ways that could not be accounted for. And I think what that indicates is the true size of the black budget. We're looking at an infrastructure that is funded by as much as $1.7 trillion a year. Now, when you consider that the whole Department of Defense budget officially is just over $400 billion, we're talking about a vast infrastructure that is 4 times greater than the entire Department of Defense budget. Very concerned about the way in which this whole area has been managed by the national security agencies responsible. By maintaining secrecy, keeping people in the dark, it means that we really don't know whether this secrecy and withholding the information, withholding the technologies from the general public arena is really for the best interest of all of us.
in the political resolution of what we now call, I prefer to call the truth embargo that the government imposed on the facts regarding an extraterrestrial presence. That presence has been established, I think, many times over by the citizen science research that's been going on since the 40s. The government did studies, but they were primarily for show. And the issue from a government standpoint has been managed very intensely since 47 at minimum. Managed in the sense that the government was going to deal with it, but deal with it within the national security structure and never acknowledge that there's anything to this. But in fact there is. I mean, we are being engaged as a planet and as a species by other beings, possibly multiple species. This has just been proven beyond any doubt at all. Anyone who reads the research who isn't compromised by being either an idiot or in the employ of the government management of the issue can only arrive at one conclusion. The evidence is overwhelming. Videotape, daylight discs, nighttime discs, photographs, direct pilot sightings by the thousands, millions of sightings around the world, direct testimony from direct government involvement, and of course you've got an entire contactee body of evidence that's now in the tens of thousands of reports. There is a political block, what I call a truth embargo, instituted by the government, that they are not ready to formally acknowledge this, quote, presence. Researchers, mostly regular citizens, have proven without a doubt there's an extraterrestrial presence, that we're being engaged. The evidence is overwhelming.
If I wasn't in the know person, high up in government or finance, and I knew about the extraterrestrial issue and I knew about sequestered technology, and I knew what it could do when it was released, my position would be this. Let's keep that technology under wraps as long as possible while we sell as much of the rest of the oil as we can for as much as possible. And then we'll take that money and we'll use that to own the extraterrestrial technology, right? The point is, there's always people in the know and out of the know. Sometimes it's about stuff and, you're in or you're out. But there are some things you can't have the in the know and out of the know.
Disclosure has a very defined definition. It means the formal acknowledgement by the governments of the world of the extraterrestrial. We're in this strange reality, which we're caught between two worlds, between two paradigms. And the bridge between, or the door between these two paradigms is what is now called the disclosure event.